Today on Brilliance Business TV, we have Peter Stelling, singer, songwriter, actor, model. Stay tuned. Welcome to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. Today we have a wonderful guest, Peter Stelling, singer, songwriter, so stay tuned. I just want to make an official shout out to our show sponsors, Dreamweaver Artist Ranch. We are streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and we're also streaming through MSP News Global.com. We're also on the E360 TV network under Fresh Takes, going out to Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, Roku, and many more. And we're also on Business Innovators Radio Network. So let's bring in our incredible guest, Peter Stelling. Peter, welcome to Brilliance Business TV.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me on.
It's a pleasure. Now, I'm really looking forward to a conversation with you today. I have spent time checking out your music. I love what you're doing in this world. So just tell us a little bit about your past background that has led you to the work that you are doing in music.
Of course. So I started music at a young age. Around middle school, I started really focusing on learning instruments. Before that, in elementary school, is where I started writing, but I needed to figure out how to play the instruments first and understand what music was and the different notes and how to put things together to really learn how to be a songwriter. So in middle school, I surrounded myself with a lot of other talented people who did play instruments and who were adamant about being songwriters. And we made our little groups. And so every day when we had free time, we would go meet up with each other, get our corner outside of everybody. We had all our instruments. And it was just, we created a good atmosphere, and we wanted to create music to share with our friends, to, you know, bring positivity and bring all these different things to light. But it was difficult to be a songwriter when I was growing up. I didn't have a lot of money due to my parents' financial situation. So my first even guitar came from a pawn shop, and I still have that guitar today. It's been through a lot. It's been shared around with a few different friends because, you know, I had other friends who couldn't afford instruments. So we'd always share. If I needed a piano, he would give me one of his. And if he needed a guitar, I'll give him one of my guitars because we didn't have the money to have our own full setup. So we would always try to meet with each other either through school because that was the most convenient. Or if I had a friend close by in my neighborhood, we would try to meet up and share the different instruments we have, the different creative ideas, and we would try to songwrite. But I mainly started songwriting basically to escape and create like this little imaginary realm for my own where I could be the person I want to be and write the music I want to write and create an atmosphere out of nothing to where, you know, people would want to join in and, you know, take a part of the beautiful things that music can do for somebody. So I started writing, I started focusing on it. I took a music class in middle school. And then throughout high school, I joined musical theater, I joined theater, and I joined choir. And I started to learn from the different teachers around in high school. And they really helped focus on me and learn about music theory and the different things that music can do for somebody and how much it can impact a crowd or impact just one individual person. But, as I continued songwriting, you know, I learned about a lot of the different things that can come up with it as well, like just the new friends you meet and the new people, the new connections that songwriting can bring you to help push and motivate you to do even more things with songwriting or something with music.
I hear you, and I think music, like you mentioned, is a great escape. So if you're ever going through challenges or a breakup or you're feeling down, music can really bring the emotion out in you and really get you through some difficult times. And I'm guessing that's what you mean by escaping music. Am I right there, Peter?
You are right. So I remember sitting in the auditorium at my school for different musical performances, and I would hear other writers and singers in my school perform these songs that they wrote. And they either hit a note or they hit a clash of notes where it brings out something in the room where you get goosebumps and you get chills, and it hits you in a certain way that changes your outlook on a certain situation or something that might be troubling you, or how they even said a certain phrase and how it hits you can totally change your outlook on whatever you're going through in your life. And I was going through some different things when I was younger with just getting into bad situations. I wasn't the greatest kid. I was always getting into trouble. I was going out in the neighborhood. We were vandalizing things. I was a little hood rat kid. So music was a great thing for me to take on and use as a productive tool to move out of my situation and grow and become something more than what I was, because I didn't really like the situation I was in. I knew music was going to be a great doorway for me to do something better.
I really like that. We all have a past, Peter. I was a nightmare when I was younger, and luckily for me, dancing and drama was a great escape. So I totally get that, and it's great that you went into all the passions that you wanted to do, and it really helped you through some of those difficult times. Now, I know as well you do some acting, you're in commercials, infomercials. Tell us a little bit about that. We will talk a lot more about music afterwards as well.
Of course. So getting into modeling and getting into acting wasn't something that was totally huge on my priority list, but I always had friends and I had teachers and other mentors, motivate me to do that as well, because they thought, why not? So I did have a very good friend of mine help me sign on with different agencies in the Central Florida area. And once I started to build a portfolio and a resume for modeling and acting, I started to be given some really great opportunities. I was a part of Ron John's 2020 ad campaign. I'd done runways with Tommy Hilfiger. I did catalog shoots with JCPenney and Champ Sports. So all these little doorways opened up through music and other creative departments. I didn't expect to go into modeling and acting like I did. It was just kind of another doorway that was open for the music and the passion that I grew up with, which honestly helped me make more connections. You make more friends, and you just learn about the whole industry as a whole and all the different things you can offer people, because not everybody is focused on music. Some other people, they like to act and they like to model, and that is their escape. They like to be the other people in the world that can make a difference. And sometimes that always can't be done just through music.
I hear you, and there's some great brands that you have worked for there, and I've seen lots of your shoots. You take a great photograph, Peter,
Thank you.
and you are really, really building momentum. I mean, I've looked at lots of your shoots, some of your commercials. These are really great opportunities you are being given. So you should really, really be happy of the success that you are achieving. It's great work. You was also in a music video with Robbie Johnson quite recently.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this.
So again, due to me signing up with different agencies and having a portfolio to where different artists or different clients could look at my picture and be like, you know what, I want to use this kid for my video. And that's what Robbie Johnson did for me. He gave me a great opportunity to play him in a music video that just came out on CMT called Trying to Get Over You. The music video was filmed in Clearwater, Florida, and it's a breakup story about somebody young like me trying to get over a girl, but you look through the girl through social media, and you can see their profile and them doing all the things that make them happy. So it's kind of a twist on how difficult it is to get over breakups and relationships when you have such easy access to the happy profile that they can push out to the world. But that was a whole day process. We had multiple shoot locations, and it was a very fun experience. Everybody was full of light and joy and making jokes on set, and you could really tell that they weren't working. Everybody was doing it because they liked what they do.
I get it now. I watched a little bit, but now that you have told me, I've realised that you're playing him, which I didn't get that initially. That's really
Something
interesting.
interesting too is that the girl who I was playing with, who was the other role, was actually his daughter. So I thought that was very cool.
That's really cool. And when you're doing shoots or commercials, I know it must be draining on your energy when you're doing things the whole day, but when you're doing that kind of work,
I'm not drained at all when I'm doing something like that.
it's
And
really fun and exciting. I've done bits of television extras and things like that and theatre. It's really just adrenaline and enjoyment. It's just an exciting thing to be doing, so it doesn't feel like you're working.
absolutely, everybody, I said again, we're all because we want to bring something out amazing. We want to show something to the world, and we want other people to be happy and find joy in the things that we create with the other people who, even the videographers, the directors, and the other actors, they all put all their energy into this project because they want everybody to get the same energy and feel out of it as they did. And you could tell everybody on set really loved what they were doing, and everybody was positive energy, and you surround yourself with all these people who love what they do so much that it just makes you want to be a part of it more and add to it and, give it the most potential it can be.
My next question, I had it quite rough when I was at school for liking dancing, being called gay, queer, etc., etc. And I carried on doing dancing. I carried on doing drama. Now, I know you was in choir, you like musical theatre, etc. Was that an easy journey for you when you were at school, or did they have challenges with children there as well? I'm just asking because I know for some people wanting to pursue things, sometimes it can be hard with what other children are saying about that.
I mean, honestly, I was in a little bit of a similar situation. When I got into musical theater and music, I did have people question my sexuality and have people think I was gay. And the thought that they would tie those things to musical theater and theater was a little discouraging. But again, even with theater and music, you're going to have those people that are going to tear you away, who are going to tell you shouldn't be doing something, who are going to take their own perspective and push it on you and say, this is how it actually is. But music and arts are interpreted in so many different ways, and anybody can interpret something differently. And the important thing is that you do what you love. And if it brings you joy, you shouldn't care what other people think. And if if the other people in there are discouraging you, then maybe they're not the ones that's supposed to be in that department.
I agree, and you should always follow your passions, and sometimes kids can be really cruel as well. Peter, we need to just go to a commercial break. Please stay where you are. Thank you everyone for joining us for part one. Stay tuned. We're in conversation with Peter Stelling.
Hello everybody, Cyberchuck 2.0 here. I'm so excited to be able to share my vision of Dreamweavers Artist Ranch. They say you can't choose your family. Not only am I saying you can choose your family, you get to thrive with your family here at Dreamweavers Artist Ranch. It's a place for like-minded individuals to come together to share experiences and gain experiences, not only through workshops, through performances, and through exhibits. This is a place where you can disconnect from the outside world and reconnect into a community of people that there is no judgment. There's only support. And this place is an amazing place to grow and to tap into your highest potential and to be able to show off all your talents. This is a place you can come and network and really thrive. I'm so excited for Dreamweavers Artist Ranch. This is a place where dreams actually come true. I love you all so very much. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.
Welcome back to Brilliance Business TV. We're in conversation with Peter Stelling. Peter, I know your big passion is songwriting, and it is a skill and a talent. A lot of artists, they sing songs, but they don't actually write them. I know you're really passionate about songwriting. Do you have a process that you follow? Tell us how that works. Is it smooth? Does it come really easy? Or sometimes it's more of a struggle?
So with the process of my songwriting, it can be either both ways. It can either I can come up with a song instantly and like, you know what, this is very catchy. Let me add on to this. Let me focus on this. Or it might take a while. It might take me a couple of days like to actually get a melody that I like or to hear something so many times. You know what? Let me focus on this. But usually it either starts with a idea or a thought or something that I'm thinking about that's troubling me. I try to find the things that are troubling me throughout life to really focus on that, because if it's troubling me, it might be troubling somebody else. But either it might come up with just a phrase, even 2 words with a melody that you could find catchy. But a lot of people, they might hear something catchy, but they always second guess themselves and they push it aside and they try to come up with something different and they second guess themselves again. The process just keeps repeating itself. They keep second guessing themselves over a good idea. But because of different things that they worry about, like how everybody else is going to hear it or listen to it or see it, they push it aside and they push away all these good ideas that they could focus on and write about. But because of a certain confidence aspect in themselves, they keep trying to make something new instead of staying and focusing on one certain song or an idea. But either I can come up with a melody, I can focus on the melody for either a couple days, and once I feel like the melody is down, I can start adding lyrics, or I could figure out a verse, or I could figure out a phrase and just build upon that phrase or verse and slowly build upon it to where I feel like it's an actually good song. But again, people will second guess themselves and toss it to the side and try to come up with something new or different because they're trying to follow other singer-songwriters in the area or what's popular, or what's just going on generally around the social environment of music. But because again, it's such a creative department and it's so objective, you can come up with all these different ideas. And as long as you are happy with the idea you're creating, then you need to focus on it and build it and turn it into a song and something great that people want to listen to. But not everybody's going to want to listen to your music. Is that a big thing that songwriters need to get over? And there are going to be people who aren't going to like your music, aren't going to like the way you're wording things or your melodies, but you will find somebody who will, and that song could help change their life potentially. So it's always good to not push all these song ideas away and, come up with a verse and toss it aside. If you like it, focus on it a little bit longer. Even if you might get to the end of the song and realize it's not good, but people give up on a song too quickly. And that was always my biggest thing, was I would always come up with a hook or a catchy melody, and I would get eager about it and down about it. And, maybe this song or this idea isn't good enough, and I toss it aside. And I just keep tossing these ideas aside when honestly I should have been sticking with one thing for a little bit longer, focusing on it more and not being so down on myself and so judgmental, because we are the biggest critics to ourselves and everybody else. And that was one of the biggest lessons that I had to learn and take in, was I'm going to judge this harder than anybody I show it to because it's mine. And so once I got over that aspect and started just to write music for the general passion and the joy that it brought me, it totally changed the outlook of how I write my music and how long I focus on a song. Because now that I take out the self of, the part of me that's in the song, it's a lot easier to write it and make it better and keep improving upon it.
I think that could be applied in business and entrepreneurship as well. It's so easy to give up when you are just about to create something huge. So, all of those lessons in music can be applied to business and entrepreneurship as well. But I think what is great about music, it really can heal people. It really can get you through such difficult times, and it brings people together as well. As well. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, so I mean, I was one of those people that music helped get out of some dark places because I was a very creative kid, and whenever I got down on my feelings, it seemed to hit me harder than a little bit more than it might hit somebody else. So one of the only things I could really go to help me feel more positive, to get a better outlook, was to listen to songs. And when I was in choir, it was a great experience because I got to hear harmonies together, voices of all these different kids passionate about something, singing about a song that touched them in a way, and coming together and having all these passionate people singing in a choir, and you hear these harmonies together, impacts you, and it hits you in a way that you can't really explain unless you're actually physically there in person. You can hear it over the phone or through a speaker, but the difference of hearing something beautiful with music in person can totally change your life.
And you also mentioned not everyone would like it, but wouldn't the world be a boring place if every single person had the same taste, the same likes, the same passions? So the people that are meant to resonate will resonate. And I listened to two of your tracks yesterday. First one was The Side. It really captured me from the beginning, and then there was some rapping in it, and I asked you, didn't I, who is doing the rapping on this track, because I couldn't quite work out. I was thinking, is that Peter? But tell us a little bit about this track, Peter.
So one of the other big motivators that got me into music was my brothers and was my family. So I'm the youngest out of four older brothers. And growing up, all my brothers were into recording and singing and songwriting, and some a little bit more than others. But one of my brothers, James, he's stuck with it. He didn't make a career out of it. He had to go make his family and support them and make them happy. But his passion was songwriting and music. So I would always, when I was little, write music with him and learn from him, because he would always be a great teacher to me of how to put lyrics together and actually find out more structure of how a song is written, how it's made. And that was one of my favorite things to do when I was little, was write music with my older brothers. And so I still do that with them today. So that song and that person rapping is actually my older brother, James.
He's quite a good rapper, isn't he, Peter?
He is. I look up to him very much.
Excellent. Now, my favourite, I told you this, okay. You have been talking about songwriting, the process, how you create hooks and melodies. I listened to this track, I would say, for about 20 seconds, and straight away, it's like the song was familiar to me. It captured me with a hook, and it kind of takes you in, the song does. There's definitely great melodies, there's definitely a hook. It's really, really catchy as well, Peter. I think this song should be a really big hit. Tell us a little bit of the story behind this one.
Well, thank you again for saying that. That song, okay, I started writing it after my trip to Iceland, which was a big trip for me. I've never been to Iceland. It was one of the most impactful experiences of my life. But that song, I started writing when I like to daydream a lot. So that song was kind of me daydreaming in Iceland about the different things I would see and the things I would do. And it really allowed me to be imaginative and daydream about the different places I want to be. But that song, okay, is kind of about getting out of your own head and being able to explore the beauties that we have access to. And some people do that with somebody. Some people have a best friend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife. But you can do these things and travel and see all these beautiful things that are around the world with anybody or just yourself. So that song "Okay" is just saying okay and doing those things and not having anybody else hold you back and say you shouldn't or you couldn't do that. It's all up to you how much you want to pursue something.
I honestly think it's really well written, and your vocals on the track are really, really good. You have a great range. And I also know, Peter, you have a passion and a mission of helping other artists. I'm guessing because you had struggles in your past, you know how hard it is to get things around you to make progress, but you really want to support other artists as well. And actually, I'm going to connect you with my friend Brian Sebastian. He's sponsor of this show. He's in Hollywood, and they are behind the Dreamweaver Artist Ranch. So they will be a great connection for you artist wise, and they're all about helping artists as well. But tell us a little bit about your mission of helping other artists, Peter.
So again, I wasn't in the greatest financial situation when I was younger, and a lot of my instruments were gifts and things that friends would help me with. Like I said, I had friends that we would share and exchange instruments if we were writing something different. If I needed a piano, he would help give me a piano, and if he needed my guitar, I'd give him my guitar. And so it was always a sharing process to create a song or to create music. And there's a lot of kids out there who don't have access to these other instruments or these recording equipment due to their own financial situation, or maybe they just don't know how to get it. And there's so many songs and creative, beautiful things that can come out of these different areas around where I grew up if these kids just had more access to better equipment. So one of my missions is to, I want to find these kids, find these groups to where talented people, but they can't write the songs that they write to the capacity to where they can show them to the world, because either they're not well recorded, they're not well produced, or they're just made with poor equipment in general. So it's about finding these kids and these other talented people and giving them this professional equipment so they can make their song to the highest potential it can be, so it can reach and impact as many people as it can.
I think your past and having those struggles has really helped you to become the person that you are today, and not taking things for granted, wanting to support others who are struggling. It's really shaped you into that person that you are today, Peter. Now, I know you are learning the piano a little bit, but you play the guitar. Tell us a little bit about that. Is the guitar easy to learn, and what's that process like, and how are you doing with the piano as well?
So again, it depends on the person, because some people can pick up a guitar and be a lot better than the first person before them. So again, I always caught on a little bit more to guitar than I did any other instrument. Again, starting with a very basic lesson in elementary school, or not elementary school, middle school, and just growing with that, sticking with that. I mostly learned guitar from my friends who were musicians, and I would copy them and we would rehearse together. And then if I needed help learning a song, I'd go on YouTube and look up tabs. Guitar was the instrument for me that helped me to really fine tune what I wanted to do in the music industry, because you can create any different type of song with a guitar. And that's another reason why I love being a songwriter, is that you can create any different genre or any different style, because there's no label on music. It can be whatever you want it to be. Piano has been a little bit more difficult for me to learn. Luckily, I have a very good teacher. He's actually a good friend of mine, but he helps me whenever I have struggles with piano. So I still try to learn that on the side whenever I can. But guitar is something I've been doing for a little over 10 years now, so I've been getting a little good at it. And it's just, I'm trying to stick with it and trying to see how much better I can get.
And lastly, your most important instrument, your voice. Now, I know you say choir helped your voice, and I know you have a great range from low register to a high register. I want to ask you, when you did the choir, Peter, because you have quite a deep voice now, was you one of these choir boys that sings really high and then all of a sudden your voice broke? Or am I just thinking incorrectly here?
So when I started in choir, I started more of a middle range. I wasn't the loudest singer. I was still I didn't have the confidence I have today. So it was about my teacher kind of motivating me to be a better singer. So he would move me around in the different choir spots and the different, like tenor two to bass, and just being comfortable with it. It's not saying that I couldn't do it initially, but I lacked a lot of confidence in doing it. So either I wouldn't be singing loud enough, or I just wouldn't be singing with enough confidence in general. So it was really about him motivating me to not be scared to be loud in a choir and to show your voice, because I didn't really like singing to people. I didn't really like singing to crowds or groups because you get criticized and people would push you away from it. But being able to sing in a choir was a lot easier because you have all these other talented people singing with you and trying to produce one sound together instead of everybody singing for themselves.
I like that. Peter, keep singing, keep songwriting. You are really talented. You're a great person as well. Now, people can connect with Peter on Instagram. It's at Peter Stelling Official. That's at Peter Stelling Official. If you are interested in collaboration, any acting opportunities, job opportunities, joint ventures, I know Peter is open to opportunities. Do connect with him at Peter Stelling Official. Peter, I've really enjoyed having a conversation with you. Is there anything we did not cover that you would like to share?
The only thing I would like to say is that if you're a singer-songwriter or if you're a creative person, know that you're going to judge what you create harder than anybody. So it's better to be nice to yourself, because we all want to improve and get better. And there's no reason why you should discourage yourself if it's something that you enjoy doing.
Great way to close the show. Thank you for being my guest today.
Again, thank you for having me very much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We have been in conversation with Peter Stelling, singer, songwriter. Everyone, be kind to yourself. Until next time, bye for now.